Tracking showers and thunderstorms sweeping through the area tonight. Some of those could be producing some stronger winds with them. I'll track it hour by hour coming up.
It is not the news family members wanted to hear days after a Lexington woman and her husband went missing in Brussels.
Let's get this part done. Let the healing start.
How they are remembering Stephanie and Justin Schultz.
It must seem fun and talented, but it's not worth it.
A married couple is arrested in Laurel County after authorities find them passed out in their vehicle with their son in the back seat.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
A rainy end to our Easter weekend. Thanks for staying up with WKYT. I'm Kristen Kennedy. We are tracking storms moving across the bluegrass tonight. We begin with WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell and your no-wait weather forecast.
And it's certainly getting a little more active out there right now, Kristen, with the main action finally getting in position. It's stretched from northern parts of Kentucky, from Covington, now even into northern Fayette County as far as some of the heaviest rain. And it stretches back almost into Bowling Green as well. So that's the areas that we're watching, at least at the moment. A lot of this is weakened considerably from where it was a little bit earlier on. And I'm just talking a few hours ago, producing severe thunderstorm warnings, even a tornado warning, part of this overall system out just west of Bowling Green. And you can see some of the heavier rain there now in position into Sadieville, stretching into Cynthiana, back toward Frankfort as well, getting in on some of the heavy stuff, and right along the Bluegrass Parkway. It's north of it, at least at this point, but there's another wave, another more intense push that likely makes a run at us from our southwest. Still has plenty of heavy rain. You see the lightning tracking more toward the northeast. Here's the hour-by-hour high-resolution model. As we head through the next little bit here, you see it clearing out by 1 o'clock in the morning. So we only have a couple of hours left, just according to that particular data set of the heavier stuff. And then it becomes a little more isolated into the early morning hours. And we're also tracking cooler temperatures for tomorrow. I'll have all of this coming up in the full forecast in a few minutes.
The search is over for a Lexington native and her husband in Brussels. Her family says it's time for the healing to start. Family members confirm Stephanie and Justin Schultz were among those killed in Tuesday's terror attacks in Belgium. The couple was last seen saying goodbye to Stephanie's mom at the Brussels airport. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is talking to family about how they'll remember the two in our top story at 11.
Betty Newsom says even though her niece Stephanie was thousands of miles away living with her husband in Brussels, she still spoke to her family back here in Lexington each day. Newsom says Justin and Stephanie loved the journey they were on together and were truly living out their dream, living and working in Belgium.
They traveled every weekend. They were making the most of this short period of time that they were going to be there. I mean, they'd been running with the bulls, and they had stayed in an ice hotel, and they had been to the Vatican, and I mean, they had done all of those things. They were living the dream that a lot of us wish we had done when we were that age.
Living out their dreams in the town hit by terror attacks, the couple last seen saying goodbye to Stephanie's mother at the airport, who had been in Brussels visiting from Lexington.
If they had been later to the airport, if they had gone earlier, my sister would have already been through security and Stephanie and Justin would have already been back to their car. But you can't do what ifs.
After days of uncertainty, their worst fears confirmed. The Lexington native and her husband killed in the attack.
If not knowing for longer would have given them back to us, then let's go on not knowing. But if this was going to be the ultimate end, then let's get this part done. Let the healing start. The wonderful memories come out.
While it is not the outcome they had hoped for, they are now focusing on remembering two very special people.
She never had an opinion, a negative opinion of anyone, and she was a peacemaker. If family or friends were upset with each other, she was the one trying to make peace. And so she's the kind of person that you wish everyone was.
His beautiful smile and outgoing spirit, and the way he hated no one. He would friend anyone in the world.
Newsom says the travel-loving couple had planned to do just that this weekend, scheduled to spend a few days exploring in Finland. At the live desk, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
President Barack Obama called the families and told them Stephanie and Justin epitomized all that is good about America. Police in Belgium are continuing to carry out raids on suspected extremist nests. There were 13 raids this morning in the capital and 2 in northern cities. Police say 4 people were arrested. They aren't saying whether the raids were linked to the investigation into the deadly attacks at the airport and the subway station. This was a tragic Easter Sunday in eastern Pakistan. Police say a suicide bomber targeted a Christian community celebrating the holiday. At least 65 people died, mostly women and children. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette has the latest on the attack.
Sirens sounded shortly after a bomb exploded in Lahore, Pakistan, bringing chaos to the normally quiet area. Dozens were killed and hundreds injured. This man says, "My cousin told me that 17 of our relatives are dead." A Pakistani faction of the Taliban has claimed responsibility, saying the bombing targeted Christians. This witness says, "I carried 20 children to be taken to the hospital. I moved 3 bodies to a police car." The attack was in a park popular with families where there are children's rides. Lahore is near the Indian border, Pakistan's second largest city. There will be 3 days of mourning in the region. The White House called the attack appalling, and a spokesman for the U.S. National Security Council described it as a cowardly act in what has long been a scenic and placid park. Wendy Gillette for CBS News.
The Taliban splinter group that took responsibility for the attacks warned more will follow. We have learned tonight the name of the business a former Kentucky personnel secretary used in a bribery scheme. The Courier-Journal reports Timothy Longmire used a Lexington consulting firm named MC Squared Consulting to obtain kickbacks and political contributions. Longmire faces a charge of bribery. In a complaint filed in U.S. District Court, Longmire is accused of using his authority to steer contracts to a business in exchange for kickbacks. Longmire most recently served as the Deputy Attorney General. He resigned last week. A Laurel County mother and father face charges tonight. They're accused of putting their child in danger. Deputies found the couple passed out in a car with a child in the back seat. They say the couple was under the influence of drugs. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner is talking to the father about the charges.
I've been sitting in the jail cell crying for about just 11.5 now.
A Laurel County mom and dad are behind bars, their children in custody of other family members after police say they found them passed out in their car in a stranger's driveway while one of their sons slept in the back seat. Joshua Grigsby says he and wife Kayla drove to pick up a friend who had been drinking.
So I told him, yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and come get you because it's not safe. Next thing I know, I got a cop pulling my door open and sounded like my face asking me what the hell I was doing there.
So you don't remember falling asleep there?
No.
Joshua Grigsby admits to taking a number of drugs earlier in the day, but says when he was out driving, he didn't feel he was still under the influence.
Both of them very much under the influence, passed out in a driveway where nobody even knew the vehicle.
Grigsby says he had used meth, smoked marijuana, and taken Percocet. Both mom and dad face criminal abuse charges, among others.
If we find you in this position, we're going to arrest you and we're going to place the most serious charges on you that we can. And we don't care if your child is taken away from you. We don't care if you ever get your child back because, this is not tolerable.
Grigsby said he regrets his decision to do drugs and says there's no excuse for it.
It's not worth it. It might seem fun in a time or two, but it's not worth it.
In Laurel County, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
The pair is at the Laurel County Detention Center. Both have a $10,000 bond. The Campbell County coroner has identified the man who died after his car went off a bridge and into the Ohio River. The coroner says David James Boma from Milford, Ohio, died from severe head trauma. Boma's car went off the Combs Hill Interstate 275 bridge during a crash earlier this month. Crews pulled his body and car out of the river yesterday. State transportation leaders have filed a petition to stop semis from driving on a busy Anderson County road. They say semis use Highway 151 as a shortcut. In the past year, police have dealt with 5 crashes involving semis on 151. Now, to keep trucks off of it, state leaders are asking the Federal Highway Association to remove Highway 151 from the national truck network. Neighbors say semis sometimes end up in their yards.
Trucks will come off the road there and go up through the yards. This highway was never designed for the big trucks that are coming down the road right now.
The state says every day more than 800 commercial vehicles travel Highway 151. Coming up on WKYT News, church is back in session at Lancaster First Assembly of God. We'll take a look at a new sanctuary in their old building.
How do we put our buying power to work for you? With Power Buy, Power Financing, Power Upgrades, Power Coupons, free TVs, and more. Hurry, because our Power Sellathon ends Tuesday. Nobody beats P-Rats.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It's the one and only cure that's one pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. With Harvoni, there's no interferon, and there are no complex regimens. Tell your doctor if you have other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness.
I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
So, you've got these projects on your list. You've been wanting to update your kitchen, organize your closets, and build the backyard oasis of your dreams. But where do you start? Well, projects solved. The Central Kentucky Home and Garden Show is here. Need a reliable contractor? You'll find them at the show. Need a landscaping pro? They're here too. Bring photos of your projects and meet with the experts. Then compare and save with exclusive show-only deals. There's only one place to find it all, next weekend at the Lexington Center.
Make a fast break for great savings now.
Big Blue Nation, it's Paul Miller Ford's Matchup Sales Event. Huge savings on Kentucky's most popular brand. 0% financing for 60 months available or lease for less. New 2015 Ford Focus, lease for only $139 per month on a 36-month lease. New 2016 Ford Fusions, lease for only $169 a month on a 36-month lease. New 2016 Ford F-150s as low as $20,990.
Point, click, drive. PaulMillerFord.com.
How do we put our buying power to work for you? Get a free lifestyle power base upgrade when you buy any premium mattress at $14.99 or more. Certa Perfect Sleeper with gel memory foam. King for a queen price, $9.99. Nobody beats P-Rats.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
It was a pretty nice day. I had some cloud cover around through most of it, but tonight we're tracking showers and thunderstorms, and most of them are just very gusty and full of lightning. That's about it. Nothing more, nothing less, really. Here's what we have on our Defender Radar Network tonight. You see those areas of a little more concentration of lightning, a little more intense thunderstorms, and this one pushing through parts of southern Ohio, sparking some warnings as it starts to go in that area. The rest of what we have here will continue working into central and southern Kentucky over the next few hours with more lightning, more heavy rains, and winds maybe up to 50, 60 miles per hour. Maybe we can squeeze that much. In general, we're talking about 40 to 50, but on the high end, it could come in closer to that severe weather threshold, but most of us stay below it. Heavier rain now passing through Georgetown, basically right on top of it. When you go back toward Frankfort, they've been seeing it for a while, past couple of hours, really. Round after round. Get into Lawrenceburg, taking a break from the heavier stuff. It's still steady in nature, but you're about to get some more of the heavy rain pushing through. It's just out to your west and will push right through Lawrenceburg into Versailles and right into Fayette County, too. We have our chances to finally get in on more widespread heavy rain. Now, we've had some. It's really been flirting with northern and central portions of Fayette County. We had one little dose here at the station earlier, too, and that was really been about it for us so far. Here's what we've got on our map tonight. This, a frontal boundary that is drifting through the area, igniting those showers and thunderstorms. Behind it, we are talking about a significant drop in temperatures. We look outside tonight, and you're going to notice our camera bouncing a little bit. Well, that's because the winds have picked up quite a bit over the past couple of hours with those thunderstorms sweeping through. Sustained winds right now in Lexington are coming in at 20 miles per hour. That's sustained. That means the constant presence of wind, at least 63 degrees as well. We look at some of the wind gusts area-wide, and we're pushing 30 miles per hour in Lexington, and you see a lot of folks 20 plus out to our west as well. So pretty strong wind gusts are showing up out there tonight. Between us and Lexington, 63, and you go to Louisville, it's down to 54 already. There's that front. Can you see it? It's right there, and it is bearing down, and we will see that cooler air filter in tonight. Look at what else is happening behind it. 40s and 30s breaking out all over the place. We likely end up in the low 50s for daytime highs tomorrow. I can show you that right here in our 7-day forecast. We're tracking all of it. 52, your high. Much cooler than today. We're in the low 70s today. And you see the rest of that 7-day goes up toward the middle of the week and then right back down into next weekend. So we continue this ride of the up and down nature as we head into April this week too, Kristen.
That's just the nature of spring, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be a fun one.
Thank you, Jim.
It seems like the people's been more mature. They come together.
They are making the best of a tough situation. Still ahead, how an Eastern Kentucky church isn't letting an arsonist stop them from celebrating Easter.
While the governor's proposed budget would allow the state to spend millions to bring in new attorneys, hundreds of court workers could lose their jobs under proposed cuts. Concerns in Kentucky courts, Monday at 6 on WKYT.
Kentucky mornings start here. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT.
Looking for a variety of high-quality firearms, safes, and ammo? Come to Bud's Gun Shop and Range, home of the largest indoor shooting range in Kentucky. Bud's Gun Shop and Range. Get the best bang for your buck, located on Industry Road behind Eastland Shopping Center.
All right, come on, everybody, it's time to go.
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings.
Bring home Perdue boneless chicken breasts for just $1.99 a pound and get tender green asparagus for $1.99 a pound. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
At Frankfort Toyota, we have new 2016 Corollas, up to $2,200 off MSRP or 0% financing available. Or new 2016 RAV4s, up to $2,200 off MSRP or take advantage of 0% financing. And we'll double your no-cost maintenance to 4 years or 50,000 miles.
Frankfort Toyota, Google rated 4.9 out of 5 stars.
Frankfort Toyota, or check us out online at frankforttoyota.com.
Get weather plus traffic with a WKYT weather app. Have the Defender Radar Network in the palm of your hand while checking your driving conditions for your commute on the same screen. Weather plus traffic on the WKYT weather app.
You know, Kentucky weather is what it is. For those of us who've lived here our entire lives, we've just accepted the fact that we're never going to be able to control it. I remember growing up in Sayersville and wondering, what is it about Kentucky that makes our weather so ridiculous? And that passion to understand it has led me to where I am today. While I still can't control it, I sure as heck really understand it. I'm WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, and I stand for Kentucky.
Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $43 million. Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $116 million. Louisville police are investigating a deadly shooting. They say someone shot a man on East Oak Street this afternoon. That man died at the hospital. Police say people living near the scene heard several gunshots. Police also found a red Dodge Charger near the scene behind a convenience store. That car had several bullet holes. No suspects have been named at this time. Police in North Dakota just arrested a Kentucky woman who's been on the run for 2 years. A tip led Williston police to 30-year-old Yorelis Rios. Rios is wanted in Fayette County on charges of forgery and obtaining a real estate loan through deception. Police in Lexington say Rios embezzled thousands of dollars from the apartment complex where she worked and filed false tax returns. They transported her back to Kentucky. She is currently in the Fayette County Detention Center. Police in eastern Kentucky are still looking for the person responsible for setting a church on fire last summer. Piso Free Will Baptist Church in Pike County needs some big repairs. Church members spent their Easter morning in a small shelter on the church's property. They say the fire has only brought them closer together.
Usually when something like this happens, a lot of time people tends to fall apart. But here seems like the people's been more mature. They've come together, pull together, and everyone gets along just wonderful.
The church's pastor says they are waiting on a permit to finish construction. They hope to move back into the building in about 2 to 3 months. Months after a fire damaged part of their church, a Garrett County congregation is back at home. The Lancaster First Assembly of God has been holding services in a makeshift worship center since October. This Easter morning, Senior Pastor Wendell Johnson welcomed his congregation back to their old building.
It's an exciting day. It's an exciting day. This week, just alone, I have a crew here, volunteer crew, and we've put in 70, 75 hours trying to get everything ready.
The church added several new features to their facility. They even knocked out a wall to create more room. They are building a 13,000 square foot family life center that should open this fall. Lee K's in next with sports. Kentucky's football team got a gift this Easter Sunday.
They did. The Wildcats may have landed a wide receiver of the future. I'll let you know about him after the break. And Kentucky's baseball team looked to tame the Gators in the weekend series. Those highlights are next in sports.
Do you love cooking but have exhausted all of your recipes and techniques? Join professional Chef Matej Surgan in our world-class international cooking classes at the Center for Rural Development. We will explore the culture and traditions of the different countries while enjoying cooking styles and flavor profiles from around the world. Chef Matej gives participants the chance to assist in cooking his delicious recipes as well as sampling each dish. Each class is just $25 or $15 for children 10 and under. For more information, call 677-6000 or visit us online at centertech.com.
Don't let dust and allergies get between you and life's beautiful moments. With Flonase Allergy Relief, they won't. When we breathe in allergens, our bodies react by overproducing 6 key inflammatory substances that cause our symptoms. Most allergy pills only control one substance. Flonase controls 6, and 6 is greater than 1. Flonase outperforms the #1 non-drowsy allergy pill, so you can seize those moments wherever you find them. Flonase 6 is greater than 1 changes everything.
People know Window World as home of the original 189 window.
But that's just the beginning. We install siding too.
Our siding comes with energy-efficient, form-fitted foam.
Guaranteed for life.
Window World, simply the best siding for less.
With a heavy-duty welded steel deck and patented smooth track steering, the Hustler Raptor zero-turn mower doesn't play around. It's got the power to turn your weekend to-do list into your weekend to-done list. The legendary Hustler Raptor family starting at just $27.99. Tools, not toys.
Get your Hustler mower at Huss Equipment in Nicholasville and Valley Farm Equipment in Science Hill.
Every MDA Shamrock is a life connection to kids and adults fighting muscular dystrophy and related diseases. When you buy a Shamrock, you accelerate research progress to find treatments and cures. You also provide care for families at MDA Care Centers, and you send kids to MDA Summer Camp. Together, we can save lives and help families with muscular dystrophy live unlimited, one Shamrock at a time. Buy a Shamrock. Save lives.
When big news news breaks, be the first to know. Download the WKYT News app and turn on push alerts. Breaking news at your fingertips when you need to know what's going on. Push alerts, now available on the WKYT News app.
At the end of the broadcast, I'm most proud of what we have done as a team. This is the ultimate team sport, television news. And to deliver to the American people the highest quality news broadcast in the world today, that is a very satisfying feeling.
Kentucky football's 2017 recruiting class got a huge boost this evening with the commitment of four-star wide receiver Javante Richardson. The Maple Heights, Ohio native is the number 84 overall prospect in the class of 2017 and the number 2 player in the Buckeye State. In the 24/7 rankings, Kentucky moves up to 9th nationally in the recruiting rankings and 2nd in the SEC, behind only some school named Alabama. The Wildcats held their first open practice of the spring at Commonwealth Stadium on Saturday. The offense looked a bit ahead of the defense, and there was an emphasis placed on running the ball to open up the pass.
You know, we want to be really physical. We want to run the ball first, and so you know that's what we're going to do. You run the ball well, and then you've got a chance to open up things in the passing game. So I hope they do. You know, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I love this game. I love what I do, and I think I hope they sense that, and they love the game. They've been hungry, and they've shown it in practice.
One player on the defense that will be expected to perform at an even higher level this season is cornerback Chris Westry. The sophomore saw valuable playing time last year as a true freshman, breaking up 8 passes and intercepting 2, also earning all freshman honors from the SEC. Stoops says he hasn't quite yet reached his potential.
You know, he's got a lot of work to do. It's hard, as you know. Sometimes guys that have some success as a true freshman, they don't really truly understand how much it takes to take it to the next level. And Chris is a great kid, and he knows how to work, but it's just constantly, he's got a lot to learn still and a lot to do.
The biggest thing I learned that the game of college football is way faster, so there's no such thing as taking plays off. You always have to be on your head on the swivel pretty much, and you just have to be ready at all times.
Kentucky baseball evened up a series with top-ranked Florida on Saturday, snapping the Gators' 17-game win streak. Could the Wildcats hand Florida its first series loss of the season on Sunday? Florida jumped out to the 3-0 lead. Now 3-2 in the 7th. The wild pitch scores Evan White from third. That evens up the game at 3 apiece. This one would go to extras. Now 4-3 Florida in the 10th. Riley Mahan picks a good time for his 3rd home run of the season over the right field wall. That'll tie it up at 4 apiece. Now the Wildcats would load the bases, 1 out on an 0-2 pitch. This one goes in the dirt. Tyler Marshall, come on home. Headfirst slide to win it for the Wildcats, and the clip is rocking on Easter Sunday. Kentucky wins 5-4 in 10 innings for a 4th straight series win over Florida. They have their number. When John Calipari arrived at Kentucky in 2009, few believed that he would end up as one of the longest tenured coaches in the SEC. Of course, many thought Cal was just making a pit stop on his way back to the NBA. Well, now another coach is leaving the SEC, and his name is not Calipari. Pitt has hired Vanderbilt's Kevin Stallings as their next head basketball coach. A source said Stallings and Pitt spent several hours on Saturday working out contract details. Stallings is expected to be introduced as early as Monday, barring any last-minute snag in negotiations. Stallings has been at Vanderbilt for 17 years with 7 NCAA tournament appearances during that span. Pitt, of course, is looking to replace Jamie Dixon, who took the TCU job last Monday. Well, not many would have guessed before the season that Morehead State would be the last team from Kentucky still playing basketball in the final week of March. But that is the case. After falling short of the NCAA tournament, the Eagles accepted an invitation to the CBI tournament, and they've been playing their best basketball of the season. This week, they will take on Nevada in a 3-game series for the tournament championship.
It says that we've accomplished a lot. You know, there's been some great teams that have come through Morehead, and for us to be at the pinnacle of, and this team to be at the pinnacle of the success that Morehead has had says a lot about these kids.
And everybody's just a team, and we just don't want to lose. So that's the thing, is one game will go home. So nobody wants to go home. We just want to keep playing. We're already the last team playing in Kentucky. That's a plus, and we wanted just to add on to that.
The CBI Finals will consist of a best-of-3 series and will air live on ESPNU beginning with Game 1 tomorrow night in Moorhead. Games 2 and 3 will take place in Reno, Nevada on Wednesday and Friday if necessary. And Kristen, the final two teams punched a ticket to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament tonight. Syracuse beats Virginia. North Carolina gets a win over Notre Dame.
Yeah, I had none of those teams in my bracket.
Nor did I. And then Oklahoma, of course, is also there, and Villanova, who punched tickets yesterday.
We'll be right back with a final look at weather.
I was scared to go back to the dentist because I hadn't been in for a while. But they cut me some slack when they saw all this plaque, and they didn't make fun of my smile. I don't have insurance, but they didn't mind, which I thought was a setup for robbing me blind. But I financed my teeth, this toothpaste was free, and the numbing stuff really worked wonders on me.
No insurance? With a free new patient exam and x-rays, plus extended financing available, dentistry's never been easier. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
For the last 5 days, 17 hours, and 23 minutes, you've been a passenger.
I'm back in baby's arms. How I miss those.
Mazda's Skyactiv technology makes it good to be a driver.
Back in baby's arms.
Our city is like one big machine with thousands of moving parts. Lextran keeps more of those parts moving than most of us realize. Moving thousands of people a day to and from places of education or employment or enjoyment. Days and nights, rain or shine, weekdays and weekends, Sundays and holidays. So whether you ride the bus or not, you can count on the fact that many of the people you count on Lextran.
He's been turned down. Commence operation. Hey! You need a car.
I got turned down for credit.
Turned down for what?
For credit.
Sorry, earwax. Turned down for what?
Credit.
Drive time won't turn you down, regardless of credit.
Cool.
Save yourself. Get approved at Drive Time First. Call, click, or visit.
It's time to wake up. You've got things to do, mouths to feed, work to get done. It's another Kentucky morning. And Kentucky mornings start here.
Good morning, I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith.
You don't have time to waste, so we don't waste your time. Simple as that. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT. Have something that needs investigating? Email us or call the WKYT Investigates tip line.
Hard to tell on that camera, but I think it's still raining out there.
Still raining, and you can see a little bit of a bounce still showing over that camera as well. Here's the reason why. We got these showers and thunderstorms pressing into the area. And here in Lexington, at least widespread, we haven't seen the heavy stuff yet, widespread. But to give it the next, 15, 30 minutes or so, and we are going to get in on widespread heavy rains here throughout the entire area. But as we look ahead to the overnight and early tomorrow morning, we will get the rain out of here. Clouds thinning up. If they can get completely out of here by 5 o'clock tomorrow, guys, I think we might have a chance at the mid-50s. Otherwise, low 50s tomorrow.
Your emojis didn't look very happy there with the forecast.
Today we had 70s, tomorrow 50s. Wouldn't you be saying?
Thanks for watching WKYT.